just start, if you want to practice using the chat, if you're, this is a bad joke too, if you're new to Zoom, if you want to drop in your hometown, that's a really fun way to get people talking.
And let us know. I know we got people all over Nevada, California, and I know we had a few people from out of the states register as well.
Oh, look, we got Cupertino, Alamo, Nevada, Georgia.
New York.
Heidi,
New
your
York,
social media campaign's working.
Yeah, New York, San Francisco, Pennsylvania.
That's awesome. And I got to tell you guys,
Gardnerville.
it's kind of sucky. So COVID's kind of sucky so far. But this part, I'm digging. This part is cool. The PD part is really cool. We got Mammoth Lakes here, and a first for me, I believe I see, not Corona, I know where that is. We got Gardnerville, New York. We got Glendora, and then I thought I saw Dominican Republic in there.
Yes.
Like, that is really cool that we can get together and talk about teaching.
It's going to be an epic 90 minutes.
Is it 90 minutes? I'm only prepared for 14.
Oh.
That's why I asked for the long interview.
You did it Iron Chef style.
Yeah, I think
Dave, some slides ready.
All right, I'll build an Iron Chef right now. It's unfortunately
he can do it. That's the beauty of it, right? He could literally have an Iron Chef ready to go before I was done with the intro, and that right there.
But it's only 3
beauty.
minutes long.
Yeah,
I was going to do thin slides, but I guess we'll wait.
Nah, I'm good. We're going to do it. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to give everybody a preview while we're warming up, is I'm going to take us through kind of like the background of what are protocols and how do you get there. Hopefully I won't bore you too much, Christy. I think she's been in about like 46 of my sessions since March. Every time I open Zoom, hey, Christy is here. It's cool. And then I'm going to do some walkthroughs. And then the next section that I want to do is kind of like what I'm calling Chef's Table. So based on how it goes, I'll build one on request. So if the whole audience says, oh, what this thin slide sounds great, or what's fast and curious, how does that work? We'll do one or two, depending on how our time frame is. But the key is I'm going to take you guys from the beginning to the end and show you that I can build a lesson in 5-6 minutes as long as my internet doesn't crash. And that's part of the power of the whole process is I don't have to go to Teachers Pay Teachers, get my Visa card out, buy a thing, print a thing. You know, I don't have to do all that. I don't have to go back to my classroom and get my workbooks because I don't have any workbooks, right? So doing that kind of stuff.
Did you say this was free?
This is all free, bro. Lives
oh
right
my.
here.
Whew. I was a little worried. My budget's been tight, but that's great news, John.
Well, you owe me a beer or a Manhattan or a cider the next time I'm in Vegas. How's that?
Yeah, we could go to some of the different breweries. I'll be more than happy to take you. I like free, so I'll buy you a drink.
Okay. Well, look, we've got Altoona, Pennsylvania, Ventura County, Cincinnati, Ohio, Sparks, Nevada, Wells, Nevada. We got one person that's from Las Vegas and Cold Creek. I don't even know how that works, how you can be from two places at the same time. That's interesting. And then, so just hello, everybody. And then I'm ready to go whenever you're ready to kick it off, Heidi.
Oh, yep, we're ready. Welcome, guys. We are thrilled that you're joining us on a beautiful afternoon. My name's Heidi Carr. I'm Q Nevada's president, and I'm thrilled to have some co-hosts with me to help support John. And we'll interrupt him. You guys are more than welcome if you don't feel comfortable talking.
Hecklers. Let them do it. Hecklers are the best.
You can put it in the chat box and we'll ask your questions, but this PD is all really about you and to make your teaching easier, more efficient, and effective. Trust me, your kids will love it at all ages. And in case you didn't know or you're not a member, being a member of Q is free. So you just go to q.org/join and make sure Q Nevada is your affiliate. But membership is free, and Q is putting on a lot of free PD right now. So make sure you join, become a member, and check out what they have to offer to you. My co-host is Christy. Sorry, I always say that wrong. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, so my name is Christia Osborne Preston. I have been a teacher for about 23 years. I'm a Q member. I taught kindergarten for most of those years, but now I'm teaching humanities technology. and I am a National Board Certified Teacher and a Google Innovator.
And our other panelist that just been voluntold is wonderful David Platt.
Hashtag
from
rando
San Gabriel.
panelist.
Yes, and I believe he's still the president of San Gabriel Valley Q. So
Yep.
He's my other partner in crime. So go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I was. I got voluntold this. So I jumped in and it was made a panelist. I'm David Platt from San Gabriel Valley Q. I am the current president and happy to join in here. I was a classroom teacher for 18 and a quarter years, and then became a testing coordinator and tech TOSA for the largest high school in California, Paramount High School down in Paramount, California.
Awesome. Well, we're thrilled to have you guys, and the star of the show is going to be Mr. Jon Corippo. And we can't wait to see.
Don't do that. Don't do that star thing. Don't do that star thing. No.
You're just one of those terrific educators, and we're thrilled to have you.
Well, I am Corific. Now that's totally cool.
And we're going to
want to give me the Corific.
We're going to be able to watch him this year back in the classroom and learn with him even some more. So let's give a big shout out to Mr. Jon Corippo.
First thing is, if you guys know how to screenshot the first slide, because this is how you get free lifetime tech support. This opens the toy box. David, how long have we been connected because of free lifetime tech support? Like 8 years, 9 years?
I think since 2013.
Yeah, so 7 years.
That would be about right.
And sadly, David pings me less than in the early days now, but that's healthy. It's healthy for David to be getting better. It's totally healthy. And David has moved from being what we would like to call a regular classroom teacher, right? He was just a guy trying to do better at his job. What's your role now, David?
Oh my gosh. I am the technology TOSA for Paramount High School. So I support the teachers with lesson design strategies. So I won't say that I do all techie stuff, because sometimes the best stuff is analog, but it is all strategies that I try to help them with, and sometimes technology is interweaved in that, and especially EduProtocols are a main part of that, because they were part of my classroom practice from early on. So.
Oh, Diane Mapes is here. She's interrupting you already, David.
Ooh.
That's okay.
Diane is another active EduProtocols user, and Diane, I'm counting on you to jump in and either talk about things like, if I make it sound too easy, you can talk about what was tricky for you. If I say something that you like, you can say like, yes, this is totally true. So that's a good option too. So hopefully
not unless you pay me, I'm not coming off my.
Okay, that's fine. I'll pay you like I always pay you. I'm going to pay you in beef. I'm going to pay you in beef, as we had already agreed before the show. And I'm going to put my email in the chat right now, just in case there's anybody who doesn't know how to screenshot yet. So there's my email in the chat. Free lifetime tech support. Just ask. I love helping teachers. I'm like, I should name myself the Free TOSA. That's what I should rename myself. Free TOSA, Planetary Guide to Education. And then this is a session that I call a kick note. Jason Borgen, the Q president, made this up. He and I were talking one time, and he said, are you going to do the kickoff? And then he started saying, are you going to do the keynote? And at some point he started saying, are you going to do the kick note? And I was like, what's a kick note? And he goes, I think I just invented it. So a kick note is kind of like a keynote, get you guys fired up. That's Chuck Norris behind my face there. I thought I would upgrade my visuals a little bit. And so I'm going to give you guys some stories to get this kind of frame in where we are. How many people would agree with this? You can use your little clappy reactions. Teachers don't like being told what to do, right? Hey, we're getting new assessments. Number of teachers are excited, 0. Hey, we're getting new textbooks. Number of teachers excited. Like, teachers don't always like being told what to do. So I did a thing that was kind of fun about a month ago, and I tweeted this out, and I said, as a parent who's a teacher, what are some practices you're seeing that you're not super excited about? And I also said, and if anybody's listening that is a really sensitive person, and I mean that in a good way, I also put in brackets, I don't want to know names or schools. This is not about shaming. Okay, so this is about talking about educational practice. So here's some things not to do during COVID emergency teaching. Here's one of the ones. Telling teachers they either have to use video on all the time, or telling teachers they can never have video on. Like, we're professionals. I know schools where they will not let kids have a one-on-one Google Meet with a kid because they're worried about privacy issues. And I'm like, don't you take those kids on a 3-day camping trip? Like, if people wanted to do creepy stuff, there's worse places than Zoom, right? And the kids can screenshot if they're uncomfortable. So letting teachers be the professionals they are, right? I would like to apply the same thing. No board members can do Zooms without 3 other board members present. Does that sound weird? I'm going to go with yes, right? And they're adults and they're professionals. So to some degree, that piece is a thing. And I love what Heidi said here. Let teachers do what they do best and don't make them do worksheets. I'll get around to worksheets again in a minute. This one from Jacob Carr, the Bold Teacher of the Year in California. A middle school student received 50 or almost 50 assignment notifications on Monday from Google Classroom in the stream from their teacher. You guys, if you're one of the people that hates reply all, you know that group of people, then when somebody replies all, they come unglued, right? It's the same thing. Why do that to kids? Why do that to kids? Why give kids 50 things from the stream about their work? This one for Mrs. Woods. This is what her kids got in an email. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but being understandable and flexible. How is it helping a middle schooler to add this to your morning message? I am not, all caps, answering questions in comments or emails that I answered on the all caps live class. Bro, I would love to see how that works if your superintendent rolls that out on a staff. If your principal, you would not do that to adults. That's just not okay. Our job is empathy. Right now, kids need support. You know, you'll hear a lot of teachers say kids need to be at school because their home life isn't good. Why do I want to mimic that character from the teacher side and trap them in like a control sandwich? So that's another tricky one. Here's another one. Let's not do this. Math time tests in Zoom. I can't think of a more boring Zoom than me watching 25 kids do a time test on paper. Oh, leave your cameras on. That's weird, right? Whole class grading in Zoom. 60-minute lectures for 3rd graders, you guys. Oh, these are some things not to do. And then finally, I got some good news. So this is what Kristen Daly Conti shared, and I'm not like good friends with her. She just jumped into the chat, but I love this question. How about information overload, especially with Google Classroom emails? Now, this is what their team does. All announcements should be streamlined. My team works hard, so everything needed before the day goes out at 8 a.m. and nothing's posted after that, only if emergency clarification is needed. To me, what this, and I've been this teacher, you guys, I'm going to be honest right now, I've done this. You get to school and you go, oh crap, I don't have any copies. Which means my first recess is spent at the copy machine, right? So the analog to me is teachers that are coming to work on Monday or Tuesday or whatever day and then realizing, oh, I need to add assignments. There's a piece there that's not super fair to kids, right? There's a piece there that is not to just dribble assignments out through the day. Give kids the list for the day, call it good. For God's sakes, you guys are in COVID. If you miss an assignment, you can pick it up tomorrow. There's no reason to dribble them out all day. And then this one from my friend Corey. I know a district that printed 400,000 packets. Now I want you to read this carefully. Not 400,000 pages. 400,000 packets. They made that over a weekend. That's, if you've got 10 pages per packet, how many sheets of paper is that, you guys? I'm not super good at math and I can do that math. A lot. And then that made me think of this famous tweet. My sister did a whole homework packet and only did 1 page. And I said, how can that be? And she goes, oh, everybody just does 1 page. So that means potentially out of those 4 million pages, each kid did 1 page, right? Oh my gosh. Yes. And thank you, Diane. That's our hashtag for this, is big frickin' packets, inspired by the amazing Jennifer Gonzalez. Question from Brenda. I will share the link at the end. I don't share the link at the end because at the beginning, because sometimes what people do is, do you ever fast forward on Amazon and you look at the JPEGs and you go, oh, I saw the movie? That's not really accurate. So I let you guys go through the experience with me, and then I'll show you the slides at all. And I worry that this is what a lot of teachers are doing right here. They're trying to do everything you would do in a classroom. Although I will say, I'm impressed that she upgraded to shoeless. That was a nice touch, right? She's got her whiteboard. She's trying to make kids do math out of the textbook in the same way that she does it in class. And David, I think you can jump in on this. We're pretty sure that the textbook thing's not working anyways. So when you put a textbook model into COVID style teaching, you're going to get a worse result, right? We're pretty sure that writing things on the whiteboard is not giving kids what they need work-wise. So combining those things to an online environment is just going to get a weaker response. David, any quick thoughts on that one? I'm throwing it at you there. David's on mute. You on mute, David? Okay, moving on. No problem. So what we want to talk about is this EduProtocol idea, and I think quite a few of you saw this saw this concept in a Zoom that we did with the state superintendent of Nevada, and she talked about, you guys, what were the names of the teams, Christy? I want to say like lesson designers or digital designers.
Digital engineers.
Digital engineers.
Or the different.
Which is a great name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a great name. So this presentation is getting shared partially because of that experience. And so people were like, hey, this is pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to take you guys through a few of these EduProtocols. So pay attention, because at the end, we can talk about which ones I'm going to live chef's table them. So if you've ever been to a restaurant where it's not just teppanyaki, but like they do the whole thing, right? So we'll jump in there and we'll take some suggestions, and I'll build some lessons for you guys in real time to show you how really easy these are. Because one of my big mottos is teach better and work less. And Diane Mapes, this is your first chance to jump in. How long have you been teaching, sister?
Getting ready to start year 31.
You're unmuted, Diane. You should be good.
I said I'm getting ready to start year 31. Can you guys hear me?
31. Yeah, we got you. How long have you been doing EduProtocols?
1 year.
1 year. What was the shift for you in year 30 of going to protocols? What were some of the impacts to your teaching?
No, I didn't make any more worksheets. No more copies. I didn't make a copy all last year.
0 copies. That alone could save a teacher 3 hours a week. Just that. But how many copies did you collect, Diane, if you didn't make any?
0.
And then what was the effect on academics for the kids? What was engagement like? What were their scores like in this new?
Through the roof. Yeah.
So you're talking about a classroom, and I think this is my last little quick question for you. But like, you went from a bell curve. What did your grades start looking like instead of a bell curve?
Pretty much A's and B's.
So everybody doesn't get an A, but almost everybody passes. Is that a good way to put the shift? Like,
yeah.
Because there's going to be a few kids that don't do their work.
I had a couple that didn't pass, but mostly up in the upper, A/B range.
Cool, right?
Because they got it. They got it. They got the information.
And so this first protocol I'm going to share with you guys here in the audience is called the Fast and the Curious. Okay, and we call it that because the idea is we're not going to do all the things we used to do time-wise, right? We're not going to spend 3 hours making packets, which then leads us to losing Saturday of correcting packets. It's like the old saying, email begets email. The more emails you send, the more emails you get. And it's true with packet. The more packets that you go, the more packets you get back, right? So the first thing I want to be really clear with you guys is this is not an app or a tool. So I'm going to show you some tools or talk about some like Quizzes or GimKit, which, Heidi, you want some good trivia? It's GimKit. I talked to the 19-year-old that made it while he was still in high school, and he had originally named it Gimlet, and he's only 18. He didn't know that a gimlet was an alcoholic drink. So it is now named GimKit, which turned out to be a super cool name, right? So is that hilarious, right? So basically, here's what we're doing with the Fast and Curious EduProtocol. Okay, we're going to give kids one quick rep, cold turkey. They come in Monday morning to my class. Here's your Latin roots or your timed math or your key vocabulary for chapter 12, whatever the case may be. Okay, here's those 12 or 15 words, test, go. Now, the result is usually going to be in the 30% range or the 40% range. But teachers like Diane and I who've been teaching for a while, we know that if the kids are 40% right, I've got 40% less to teach starting now. I don't have to teach 100% of the content. I can just teach the other 60. It's a significantly lower amount, right? So I use a tool like Gimkit, Quizzes. I'm good with Kahoot. I'm good with Quizlet. You could theoretically do this in Google Forms. You'll just have to it's just more work to build the self-correcting bit. But what you do is you give the kids about 15 questions, go, cold turkey. They're guessing. We know this. It's DOK 0.7. We know this. Math facts are DOK 0.7, right? You're just memorizing. So then using a tool like, again, my favorite is Quizzes, but I like Gimkit a lot. You give immediate feedback. So immediately you tell the kids, you struggle with number 2, let me tell you some more about number 2. You struggle with number 5, let me tell you some more about number 5. You give them that feedback immediately. And then, guess what? We take that quiz immediately again. Now, Christia, have you done this with kids yet?
I have not done this with kids yet, no.
Okay,
But
Diane has, David has. I'm getting ready to unmute you there, David.
And I
Diane,
have
can
too.
you
They
speak
love
to
it.
this? Okay, Heidi, you jump in. We haven't had much carific time yet, so give us.
That's right. I have.
What's the kid response to the stuff that's normally a word search, fill in the blank, crossword, that kind of a thing? What's the normal response with kids of that?
It's boring. They're not really into it. Some of them are, but majority of them are not into doing crossword puzzles or word search. But fast and curious, they cannot wait, and they
Isn't
enjoy
that
doing
crazy?
it.
Yeah, and so you're just changing it a little bit, and you're getting a totally different result, which is really, really cool. Okay, I'm going to pause here for a second, and Diane, if you wanted to jump in, I'm adding David back in as a panelist. So David, you're back in now. You should be.
What do you want to know?
Well, just some experiences that you've had with Fast and Curious in terms of just getting that basic info in for kids quickly.
I'll go from 30%, 40% on Monday, and we're on block schedule, so I only see my kids 3 days a week. By the end of the week, whichever block that is, I'll be in the 90%. And what I do is I'll just hit that information a couple times during the week from, just we'll hit it on maybe a little lecture or a video or a hyperdoc, whatever, but we'll hit that information. And I don't take the ones that they don't know out. I leave them in. I mean, the
It's
ones they
more
do
reps,
know.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, more reps.
Yeah, more
I
reps.
leave them in. Yeah.
So Sarah
end,
Desart has a question, and you can talk if you want to unmute, Sarah.
I'm sorry, I must have hit that by accident.
Yeah, that's okay. You want to ask a question just anyways?
No, I was just looking back. I took a master's course on how students learn, and this was like connected to perceptual learning and endorphin motivation.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I was going back to my research, and I must have hit something. Sorry, but that's interesting.
That's okay. Well, I'm going to add something. Thank you for reminding me of that, Sarah, because this is all of us is smarter than one of us. And this might be new for some of you all. If you have not seen the forgetting curve, I'm going to drop this into my slide right now. I should have had this in the whole time. The forgetting curve is a really powerful thing in EduProtocols because we are constantly doing repetitions of things. And this is what the forgetting curve looks like. And I think you guys can read it. It's a pretty straight ahead chart, but I really want to highlight this. Look what happens when you get one repetition. You end up down here at the 20% retention. On the second repetition, you're in the 40s, right? In the third repetition, you're in the 60s. And in the fourth repetition, I'm going to say that's low 80 maybe. What happens if we do a fifth repetition? And this is the beauty of repetitions. David, I see you shaking your head. You have a quick thought for us on that?
Yeah. So, I was just gonna say I've done this. My background is foreign language, which is why my tag is Herr Platt still on Twitter. So I started out as a German teacher, then I did computer science, so switched from one language to another, and then I've also done this in like CTE type curriculum, like drone instruction, so drone piloting. And what you see in your increase over the week of 5 days is you do start usually that low. My average on was below 50%, and then we would end at 85% to 90% by Friday. So
Very nice.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm going to show you guys. Go ahead, Heidi.
I was gonna say, and the fun part is even like in a few weeks or a month from now, you have them do it again because they're so excited and they want to beat the last highest score that they had prior. So it becomes a competition because they see their growth and it empowers them.
What I do is I'll put the scores for the week on the board for each class.
The class average, right?
Class average. Yeah, the class average for the week, and I'll show them how they've been increasing. And so by sixth period, they've seen all the other classes. They're like, we know we're going to beat fifth period, or we're going to beat fourth period. And then if they don't beat it, they want to do it again until they do beat it.
That's crazy,
and they're
right?
like, can we do it again? Can we do it again? I'm like,
the other story
okay.
I think of, Diane, is do you remember about 8 years ago, people were like, smartphones, kids will photocopy, or they'll take pictures of the answers in Fast and Curious. I'm like, go ahead, take all the pictures you want, because we're going to do it twice till you get it right. And it just changes everything that way. And so somebody had asked a question in Q&A, is there going to be a recording? Yes, Heidi is a social media whiz. That's why she has people from 19 countries in here. She'll share the link. Here's a person who shared this on Twitter. Thank you a million times for teaching me how to use quizzes as an educational tool. Did you hear that right there? And her students went from 54% to 85% in one rep, you guys. You do that 3 days in a row and you have a class where everybody's passing. Okay, here's another good one. This one's from Corey Orlando. Corey, I had to talk her into doing her timed math this way. It was great because when I emailed her, she goes, I don't do timed math. I'm a good teacher. I was like, whoa, slow down. I don't have a class full of third graders. I need you to do like a scientific test for me. And guess what happened, you guys? Her kids went from 38% to 96% doing what Diana said. They're tracking the daily trials. So kids are learning data science, right? They're thinking about their numbers. That's metacognition. They went from 38% to 96% on their multiplication times tables in 3 weeks. And here's the big one I've been holding out from everybody. What's Corey going to correct at night? Nothing. When do kids know when they get the grades? Right now. And so at the end of this, 2 or 3 weeks, oh, we're live on Facebook? Even cooler. At the end of this 3-week unit, and basically what Diane said, there might be 3 kids that get a B, but the vast majority of your class is going to get an A, and rarely do kids get a D or an F. You'll have a few C's sneak in there, but it's a real big game changer. Here's another one. If you guys don't follow Kim Vogie, KVogie71 on Twitter, this is her Latin root final before Christmas break. I'm going to read her text or tweet. Guess I don't have to waste paper on a test, and I guess I don't have to grade over the break. Kids are rocking the Greek and Latin roots. So if you guys can't tell for sure, I'm going to make this really clear. 1, 2, 3 total misses out of the whole class. And no kid missed more than 1. That's what I'm looking for when we're talking about mastery learning. And that's our hashtag on that is AllDatGreen. So that's really, really cool. And Kim shares resources like crazy. Now I want to play a new game. Christy, I don't think you've seen this one yet. Have you seen this one yet?
Which one? How many Marzanos?
Yeah, have I played this game with you?
Yes, you have played.
Okay, good. Well, maybe David hasn't, because I'm checking to see which ones are new for Christia.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Marzano's top strategies. Okay, now dig this. Identifying similarities and differences, 45-point change. Summarizing and note-taking, 34-point growth. Reinforcing effort and providing recognition. Dude, that's quizzes, 29% growth. Homework and practice, 28% growth. Non-linguistic representations, 27% growth. So these are huge gains. And what if we were doing several of these at once? Now, here's what happens with the textbooks. The textbooks give us a Venn diagram and say force human children to do that. Does anybody know kids that like doing Venn diagrams? Because I don't. They hate them. I don't get why, but they hate them. Summarizing and note taking. Here's what we do in teaching. Copy down my notes exactly. I will look through your interactive notebook to the end of the quarter. Bro.
That's pretty good note-taking skills, I thought.
Yeah, that's copying.
My excitement right here.
Penmanship. That ain't note-taking. Okay, and then we get down to practice. Now, I ignore the homework part because I've been homework free since '99 and I'm loving it. But practice, practice, practice. One of the things, Melanie Ramsey quote of the day, stenographers, not students. Ka-cha! Melanie, DM me your info. I'm going to send you an EduProtocol sticker. Practice means that kids get to do the same thing day over day. If any of you go to the gym, I don't, but I used to play football. It was kind of like going to the gym. Imagine if your workout changes every day. What happens to your performance? Just a little bit. It suffers because you don't know the vibe, right? Every time you add a new yoga move, David, I'm sure that it throws off your Zen just a little bit. So when you have your whole namaste lined up and you're good to go, you're like, oh, I'm going to try downward dog that it's going to throw me off a little. But 3 days in, you're like, oh, this is my jam. I got this, right? We deny kids that in school because every day we give them a totally different worksheet and it tasks their cognitive load. Cooperative learning. Okay, I'm just going to say this once only. Think, pair, share ain't cooperative learning. It is not. That is two kids talking about what they're going to do at recess, scrambling for an answer when I say there's only 30 seconds left. That is cooperative learning. So we take all of these. These are the top 9. How many of those are present in activities like this, you guys? How many Marzanos on this math thing that I'm showing? And I'm going to go with 0-ish. Like if I really looked at it, there might be 1. Or this thing right here, which I've done this. I've been this guy. I'm going to make it a little bigger so you guys can read it. This is the bell ringer thing. I'm not saying this work is invalid or bad. I'm not saying we shouldn't do stuff like this sometime. What I'm saying is if this is most of the instruction kids are getting, which is lecture and practice, how many Marzanos, right? And one of my favorite ones back to this one is non-linguistic representations. The first time I saw this list, I went, I don't even know what that is. So I'm pretty sure I don't have any lessons with that. So a lot of the protocols are built around the Marzano top 9 and Hattie and UDL. So here's what, and I'm going to give you guys a preview. I'm going to tell you what it has before I show how it works. A cyber sandwich has similarities and differences. It has summarizing and note-taking. It has reinforcing effort and recognition. It has practice because we're going to probably do 3 or 4 a week in my self-contained classroom. Okay. It has cooperative learning because Christy and Heidi have to work together to build a graphic organizer. I very carefully never say Venn diagram because it wipes them out, right? And then there's setting objectives and providing feedback. Read an article, take notes, compare, write is a very clean process for everybody, right? And then the last one is advanced organizers. We're going to have kids using graphical organizers to get the work done. So in a single activity, you guys, we can have 7 Marzanos. And that's why we have teachers that have their scores going up 30, 40, 50 points on CASP. Sadly, not this year, but the year before. Okay, so here's a great quote from Adam Moeller, another person to follow on the Twitter. I'm going to make it bigger for you guys again. Adam is a 7th grade teacher. This is his first year in protocols. He's been going really crazy, okay? He had his kids cyber sandwich in a COVID remote environment. They didn't know how they were going to share their work, you guys. They used FaceTime to do flip grids to the teacher in pairs. They were FaceTiming to do flip grids. They were doing app smashing to share. What's the metacognitive on that? How high are we on Bloom's with that? We're really high. They're solving problems. They're thinking about how to tell the story. They're thinking about what to say. They're not just covering content. So I'm going to reveal what a cyber sandwich is structurally right now. You take one source. It could be a web page, a PowerPoint, a blog post, a YouTube video, anything you want, one source. Next, there's going to be 5 slides. On the first slide, Heidi takes that and there's a link, and she reads or watches and take notes. Now, this is an important part. That piece can be note and wonder. It could be note and notice. It can be DBQ. It could be Avid style. It could be Cornell. It could be think, pair, not think, pair, share. Somebody want to, so then. Any of those kinds of things, any format. If I'm teaching kindergarten, I might say, get 3 pictures of what you just learned in the video, because they can't type yet. If I'm doing AP, David, because I think you've done some AP, I do this right here. Hey, I need 2 sources. I need a key quote. I need your bias detector, like what there's all these things you can do. You make it, it's just a container. So once again, 1 source, 2 kids, 5 slides. Slide 1 and 2, take notes. Slide 3, compare. So Heidi takes her notes and pastes them over. Christia does hers. Now we get to talk. We can talk all we want about how we turn those into a single set of meaning. And then at that point, I do my Socratic seminar. At that point, I don't Socratic before it. I just let them go. I let them watch the video, let them watch a PowerPoint. And then at the wrap up, they each write a paragraph about their learning today. The learning can be first person. It can be third person. It could be formal. It could be informal. It can be response to literature. It can be pretty much, again, anything you want content-wise. Now, I saw a couple of hands go up, and I don't know if those were on purpose or on accident. So keep those questions going. Keep, what else you got there?
One of them wanted to know what DBQ was.
Okay, so that is document-based questions. History teachers love that, but guess what? I don't know if you've even seen this one. Have you seen the DBCUE, David? Yeah, so somebody, I forget who, but I can look it up. They made a DBQ, and I'll show what that looks like right now. It's just basically, it's a history strategy of looking at a primary source or a document, and then having the kids do a certain series of questions and answers and observations based on the picture. So I got this one popping open right now. Shout out to Connie Mimura down in Arcadia. Her kids don't know what the Venn diagram is to the point that they call it the cheesy slide. And I love that about the way Connie teaches. Like they think it's a cyber sandwich, so that whatever that is the cheesy slide. So here's an example of a DBQ. If you're a history teacher, this should make you pretty excited right now. Who's in the picture? Write a 3-word sentence. Source, do you think it's primary or secondary source? Evidence and details for your thoughts. Scroll down. What do you know? What do you want to know? Is there a bias? Claim, quote, evidence, analysis. Now, this is pretty fun. Feel free to jump into the chat, you guys. Who does that look like in the picture?
It reminds me of the book I Love You Forever.
Okay, so oh, good. Kathy Jacobson nailed it. It's JFK and Marilyn. Or is it? It's actually a famous fake. So I let the kids really run this through their filters. Is that real? Could it be true? Is it proof? You can put a picture of Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, but where you're taking kids through is a sequence of thinking that you do the same every day. So that's what a DBQ looks like, since somebody asked. At the end, I reveal to the kids, it's a fake, and here is why. And guess what? As a language arts teacher, guess what I'm building? Media bias. And what's my prep time? What's my prep time? I just need some hoaxy pictures to frame a discussion. So this is, again, the idea of a protocol. We're going to do about the same thing every time. All that changes is the picture. David, how do you like that one?
I love that one, actually. I would totally use that, and I actually want to use that now and share that with my social studies teachers.
Yeah, I'll share that to you. And it's awesome because it makes the work routine, right? It makes the work routine, and I'm working metacognitively. So it's a comfortable place to be wrong as long as kids are telling me what they think, right? It's not right, wrong. So guess what else I don't need? I don't need a teacher's edition because I happen to lose mine all the time. Anyways. So Terry says,
Jon,
put the DBQ link in the slide. So I'll do that real quick.
There was one question. What is the return rate on the cyber sandwich in Mazzano's term?
Return rate, how so?
Wait for them to send a message on that.
I'm not familiar with that term, and I will be happy to answer. So I'm adding a link to DBQ into the slides. And again, this is the fun thing about not being trapped by transparencies and paper and all that kind of stuff. Hey, look, we just added the slides. So that's the DBQ link. Okay, next one. Now, bear in mind, you guys, if you're listening, if you're going, John, these are good, but I teach upper grades, and these seem kind of simple. These are for the simple work. There are 3 levels in your classroom. 1, memorizing. 2, churning. This is like algorithms and math. We're just churning. And then there's the 3rd level, which is creation, building, thinking. So I'm taking you guys through the memorizing stuff right now. We'll get to churning as we go farther on. Okay, next one is thin slides. Okay, just for fun, if you want to participate in the chat and get a shout out, if you tell kids their slides, their PowerPoint's due in 3 weeks, what day do they do it?
The night before, or a few hours
The
before.
night before, yes. Ashley Stubbs is in first that morning. Christopher Collins upgrade. Okay, so this is not just me, right? This is not just me. This is not bad teaching by John. This is what it is, right? 2 weeks and 6 days. My favorite answer is if it's due in 3 weeks, I get it in 2.98 weeks, whatever that is, right? I've told that same joke in Mexico City and Australia and New Jersey, and I get the same response every time. So here's my question. Why are we giving them 3 weeks? If they're not even going to start for 2.9 weeks, why don't I just give them 0.9 weeks? So this is the idea of thin slides. And I want to do one last thing on Cyber Sandwich. This replaces Think, Pair, Share.
Only
So
got another half hour.
yeah, oh, we're good. We got this. The Cyber Sandwich replaces Think, Pair, Share. And the real beauty of it is when the kids are done, guess what you have? Typing, reading, evidence. In a Think, Pair, Share, all you have is yapping. So, okay, thin slides. Oh, and my favorite part of Think, Pair, Share is when you're doing the poker chips and you go, David Platt, and he goes, they took mine. And then the whole game is over, right? That's everybody knows that one. David knows that trick. He's like, I'm a 4th one in. I'm going to do it. They took mine. And then everybody says that. Okay, so thin slides replaces KWL charts. Has anybody been around long enough to know what a KWL? It's a no. What did I learn and learn? Here's the problem. When you're working with 4th graders and you say, what do you want to know about volcanoes? They say, why do they blow up? And then all other 29 like minions go, yeah, why do they blow up? And I go, any other questions? Nope. All we want to know is why did they blow up? You don't want to know about their location. You don't want to know about what kinds. You don't want to know about, nope. We just want to. So this defrays that. So basically, and I think it might be an Alice Keeler quote, or she might have tweeted it. And it says, teach like the internet exists. So if your kids have devices, if they're in a Zoom with you, clearly they have a device, right? Give them one word and one phrase. Sorry, one word or phrase and one image. They get 1 slide each. They get 3 minutes. So I'll give teachers, I've done this. Here's an example that I've done with teachers. Give me 1 word, 1 picture, things people should not eat. 3 minutes. Each student then gets 4 seconds to share their claim, observation, or reasoning. Now I'm moving it up a little bit on blooms. So I've got haggis. I think most people can agree. Squid, yeah. Veal, 50-50. But then when we hit asparagus, I'm like, bro, what? No. Anchovies, I'm with you. Durian, I don't know. Peas, I like peas. What's wrong with peas? So what the key to this is, every student's creating and every student's talking. And I've done this as a guest visitor in classrooms. And I've literally had teachers tell me, that kid's never talked all year. But I'm giving them 4 quick seconds to get in and out of there. 4 seconds, boom, boom, okay? And who's doing most of the cognitive work, Heidi? Not me. The kids are doing it.
Your learners. It's great.
Yeah. And so imagine that we did this same slide, except the word was parallel. I'm a pretty good orator. I can tell stories. Kids never want to hear my lecture on parallel, ever, ever. It's not a fun lecture, right? How can you do it with math? Sandhya, I'm walking right into your trap. This is great for vocab. Ready? 4th grade, parallel, go. And I'll show you what the kids will see. If I go to Google and I type in parallel, because I want to show you guys a super cool trick I'll bet some of my panelists haven't even seen yet. If I type in parallel in images and somebody else asks, how young can this go? Ready? I'll use my voice. Parallel. I don't have to be able to type at all, you guys. That means kindergarten's in the game. People have not noticed these right here. I know a lot of people haven't noticed these because I had to show them to the famous Holly Clark. If I have to show this to Holly Clark, nobody sees these. Look at these little bubbles right here. And what's that one say, Heidi?
Real life.
What? So when I click on this, watch what happens. Okay, load internet, load. Look at this. These are all real life exemplars. So math person, this is how I'm going to do concepts. I'm a Joe Bowler fan. I don't like speed math. I like kids to wander and think and plan, right? But for parallel, okay, let's do the same thing, perpendicular. And here's the dirty teacher trick, and I mean this in a good way. You guys, what's my prep time on this?
30 seconds. Or as quick as you can type.
Yeah, about as real world. Here we go, real world. Boom, there we go, perpendicular, perpendicular. So again, the kids are doing most of the work. My planning is going down. Everybody shares for 4 seconds, which means everybody gets participation points, which means everybody got an A for today. Here's the dirty trick part. The kids don't realize it's a 2-point A, and they don't realize a 2-point A isn't going to help anything. But they heard they got an A, so they're super stoked. So that's thin slides. Here's another one, sketch and tell. Sketch and tell. Sketch and
John,
tell.
before you describe that one,
yeah.
but they clarified your cyber sandwich one, the percentile rate of effectiveness of using cyber sandwich or any of the protocols.
Oh, well, I don't know that I work in that terminology. What I can tell you is we have if you'll forgive the term, a crap ton of anecdotal data from people like David and you and Diane, like hundreds of teachers that are saying their kids are going from 30% to 45 and 60% in one class period. We've got tons of that. We have quite a few bits of data from school districts. Scott Noons, you know him, right, Heidi? Scott Noons. His English department went up 44 points on the CASP test by introducing 3 protocols. We're working on a white paper that quantifies that, so I don't have the full details yet. I've got another teacher who was a first-year teacher that took over her class in December. First-year teacher in December quadrupled her language arts scores. Her kids went from 15% to 56% in one semester. So we have a lot of that data. I just haven't worked on it in that exact format. So keep on asking those questions. I hope that helps. Next question, David Platt. How do we do this in a distance learning environment? A lot like what I'm doing, and synchronous is awesome because if you can teach the kids 1 hour a day to play 4 of these games, Heidi, I think you can speak to this. If you teach them to play 4 of these games, you can then move that to asynchronous and go, hey, David and Heidi, you owe me a cyber sandwich, go. They can do it together independently, and that's that low cognitive load. Speak to that a little bit, Heidi.
So this year I was working heavily with the cyber sandwich, and I tweaked it a little bit with the kids, and they were really excited to work with their peers. And they would find ways to meet with each other. So whether I had to make the meet for them so their partners could collaborate or whatnot, that's what I would do with my students. So they could do it, and they're excited because it gives them that collaboration in real time, and it's meaningful.
You could do random Zoom rooms with 2 kids in a room. So here's another example of a cyber sandwich that's built out. We have free templates at eduprotocols.com, and then we have free templates at q.org/craft, and then you can literally just look through the I don't even know whose this is. That's funny. Random person. Oh, Adnan. Okay, sorry. This is a slide deck. I'm not doing that. I want to do an actual cyber sandwich, just to give you guys an idea. And Heidi, are we going 90 minutes or were they just teasing me? We're really going 90?
No, for real. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, here's a really nice cyber sandwich by Catherine Byers. I think her Twitter handle is @Mrs. Byers. So basically, each team, 2 people, make a copy, share to your partner, and then this is really cool. They do they're doing ancient Rome and ancient Greece. So 2 time periods at once. On slide A, partner A is going to do this. They're going to talk about 3 things you noticed in each scene. And she's got a VR tour clicked here. So when the kids open up Rome, they look at the Forum, they look at other parts of the Forum and the Colosseum. Meanwhile, student 2 is doing the same work, but looking over the Acropolis and the Odeon of Heroes. And then on slide 3, they get together. Now, my guess is that they're going to say things like, I saw a lot of rock. I saw a lot of columns. It's falling down, right? So those are the things they had in common. And then they write a quick paragraph, and then they write a quick paragraph. So that's the get down for a cyber sandwich. And so you can see that the prep on that's really easy. Now, Sketch and Tell is one of my favorites, and I was getting started on this. So Thin Slides is over here. We're Google image pirates. We don't care where it came from. We're just trying to get that image in there. One image, one word, we're good. Sketch and Tell is on this end of the spectrum. Do you guys remember when I talked about non-linguistic representations? Well, FET is a non-linguistic representation. And if you guys haven't seen this, this is awesome for distance learning if you're a science or math teacher, because guess what? There's math teachers that use manipulatives. And when kids go home, they don't necessarily have those manipulatives. And Sandhya, to your question, I'm going to make one and the kids self-clone and distribute on their own. Or if I'm in Google Classroom, I can make one and push it to the whole class, and then one of the pair ignores it. And
I will give it to them all, and they know who their partners, and I tell them what side, because it allows me to give them feedback if they need to, or help either my ELL students or my SPED students or any of them to assist if needed. So it's a one-stop shop for me too. And I'm that Bitmoji teacher.
There you go. So in FET, which is from the University of Colorado, and they've been around quite a while, what you want to do, oh, that's weird how math isn't opening up. Oh, well. Browse. I think I hit filter by accident. Allows kids to do manipulatives for math. And so the way a Sketch and Tell works is, and one other little technical detail for you guys, if you've used FET in the past and you're bummed out because it doesn't work on your Flash anymore, look for the ones with 5, because that works on everything. That's HTML5, works on everything that moves. That's actually good news. And FET's rapidly converting those over. But I can take an activity like this fraction one. Ooh, they got a new interface. I haven't seen this before. Okay, so this is a great example. This is even great for if you are teaching face-to-face. How many people have a balance beam for every kid in their class? Not many, right? What if every kid had a simulated balance beam? And what if you just said, hey, go in here and do some stuff for a few minutes, and then be ready for a Sketch and Tell at the end, because you're going to draw and describe your learning. So hopefully this will open up pretty quick here. Am I doing okay so far, you guys? Comments seem good. Oh, shoot. Well, okay. Visualize that a digital balance beam opened. It's just taking forever on my internet. What I'm going to do in a Sketch and Tell is you are going to then draw using the Google drawing tools, which are right here. If you have touchscreen Chromebooks, this is awesome. The Scribble for touchscreen Chromebooks, you can draw pictures right in your slides. You don't even need a separate app. It's cool in Pear Deck and Nearpod too. So this is by Stacy Young. And what Stacy did was she had kids read a little bit about Shinto shrines. They watched a short video, and then each student drew their thoughts about what they had just learned and added a text box with some writing. This is Adam Moeller's take on it. This is what one of his kids did on their Sketch and Tell. They were learning about the Roman Senate, and this is how a student drew what he had learned. I'm going to argue that that is an unforgettable lesson for him, that he's going to be able to articulate that. But Adam upgraded me a little bit. Adam is also bringing in gummy bears, Oreos, and Play-Doh. So this is one student's visualization of popular sovereignty. All the little bears down here, I'll put the drawing on it just so everybody for sure gets it. These bears hold up that bear, popular sovereignty. And that's how you build vocab really quickly. Typically sketch and tell ends with a gallery walk, but you guys are super creative teachers. There's tons of ways to do this. Imagine every kid has to share with 3 other kids, and they have to talk and comment and make some edits, which we, as an English teacher, I love revision. So that's the idea of sketch and tell. How am I doing so far? Good? Questions on sketch
You're
and
doing
tell?
great.
There are 2 questions that you might want to look at. Is there a way to push out the specific tool on set?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So hopefully this is loaded in the background now. Yeah, I just push out the specific tool by copying. I put the link in the stream, or I put the link in the slide deck. And so hopefully this one load. So let's look at this. What grade level is this, you guys? Kids can do all these things on, they've got their own balance beam going, and they can add, this could literally be first grade very easily, but you could start a physics unit this way. Everybody's got their own. You can take snapshots of your work in progress. And what happens is, this is really EduProtocol. You start with the basics, and then you do the lab. And so the idea is, I would just say to the kids, get into PhET. You've got about 5 minutes. Push the buttons. Tell me what you've learned. Draw it. Super simple. And what's my prep time? Right now, I now realize balance beam may not be the most applicable thing. But this is just one exemplar. So that's a really good one. What was the other question?
That was the next one from Karen, and she wanted to know what is the comparable tool in the Microsoft platform with Teams for what you're
it's
talking
called PowerPoint. You can do all these slide things right in a PowerPoint. Kathy Jacobson, what? Thanks for jumping in. They can actually draw in Word, OneNote, or PowerPoint. And there's some things in PowerPoint that are way better than Google Slides. They have a built-in thing for icons that's very similar to the Noun project. And so, yeah, this totally works in PowerPoint. You can just, I keep saying, send up the lessons in Google Classroom. You can totally send them out in a Meet. Totally the same workflow. Okay, now for the math people, it's a little more math stuff. So this is my friend Lisa Nowakowski. She took this concept from 8 parts, which I had started doing in about 1999. Lisa did 8 parts for like 3 years, and then she was like, I had an idea. So here's what Lisa's idea is. And this is a lot like calendar time if you teach primary. Now, if you don't teach primary, this is going to look like, wow, I had no idea. So in this model, what happens every day is only one thing changes, the number. So the kids are going to do 7 here. They're going to go, 7. I don't know what they do with the star. Sorry. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 2 plus 5 equals 7. These are called number bonds, apparently. They go tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tomorrow, guess what? Same thing, different number. Now, I don't teach primary a lot, but I went and demoed this with some first graders, and I had them up and running in a few minutes. So this is the concept. We're doing 8 or 9 standards a day. We're not taking a week to do 10 frames and then a week to do number bonds. That's the way we used to do it. This is what it looks like in 5th grade, though, you guys. This is 5th grade. Same concept. The only thing that changes is today's number. And today's number is 344.5. So they're doing 1/10 less, 100th less, subtract a 10th and 100, write a decimal that's less, write a decimal that's greater, word form, prime factors, power of 10, round to the nearest, 10 times greater, 100 times greater, and cubed. Boom, boom, boom. And you're right. It's a lot like mountain math. It reminds me of Saxon, if anybody's been around since Saxon math. And the idea is, let's do 10 standards a day instead of one a week. And here's the best part of the whole thing. If you like this at all, Lisa reports that her 5th graders on this activity, the first day will take nearly an hour because she's walking them through all the pieces and literally giving them the answers in some cases. And on day 1, kids get credit for putting in the correct answer and listening carefully. By day 5, Lisa has kids that are getting done with this amount of work in about 10 minutes. What's my prep time? Making copies. Let's say we're remote. I can send home 50 of these and say, when you get all these done in 10 minutes, you're done, right? Kids can literally do it paper pen, take a picture and turn that in Meet or Teams. And so it can be as papery as you want. And yeah, so Kate, but check it out, Kate, if you use this with the first graders, here's the thing. Second semester, Maybe you can move them up to the second grade one. Your second grade friends will love you. And then if second grade moves to third, it's really, really cool and it's really simple. And if you're going, oh, that's great, but it's younger grades and I teach the big kids, guess what? We got this all the way through geometry, guys. You go to mathreps.com. Super good math teacher, Kristen Morales, down near David somewhat, but south of David. She's doing calculus and trig this way, you guys. Same setup every day. What they call this in that level is they call it a placemat. So it's a geometry placemat because it sounds fancier. And to Candace's question, no, not Candace's. Is there one for fourth grade? Let me just model. Let's go to mathreps.com and see what we've got. Mathreps.com or .org. And again, I live by Yosemite, so my internet gets funky once in a while because I'm out in the country. Ooh, hey, there is fourth grade, 3 through 5. Now, again, while this is loading, the key here is instead of doing one standard a week for 8 weeks, which burns up kids' short-term memory, they're not forgetting, we're overwriting their short-term memory. What we're doing is we're doing the same 8 or 10 activities every day for 3 weeks, which is 5 weeks shorter than doing each activity for 1 week for 8 weeks. Does that make sense? Am I doing that right? Okay. So fourth grade, and these are all Google slide decks you can copy, and we got a whole bunch of new ones coming. The instructions are built in, so they got everything there. I'm just waiting for my slides to load now, and we're adding new ones all the time. So you might start with multiplication strategies, and so this is what the kids will do. You guys, if they can do that in 10 minutes, why am I giving them worksheets with 50 questions? It makes no sense. I'm just wrecking my own weekends. Division strategies. So they work them through. This one's another fun one. Daily division. Doing all this every day, bro. All this every day. All this every day. Here's some kid examples. This one's made by Jeremiah Roosh. He's a math guy in the Porterville area. Paper pen works great. No problem. And it works great for resource. And guess what? If you're a high school teacher and your kids can't divide, oh yeah. And they won't hate you for it because it's not lecturing stuff they did in fourth grade. They built in division stories. There's just a wealth of strategies on these. And then if you want to move to more like the multiplication division piece, that's in fifth grade. So these are interchangeable amongst grades. And you know what I love about this, you guys? This is made by Lisa. She's just a teacher. It's not a business. She's just doing this out of pure love. So she's got this one, today's number that I showed you guys. They've got this one right here that has fractions. Here's what changes every day. Fraction 1, fraction 2, whole number. The teacher supplies that. The kids go on a run. And then this is how much work the kids are doing every day in about 5 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Here's another one. Let's do the area model and the algorithm. Why not? Let's get crazy. And so that's what that looks like when we're done. And then they've got other ones. And again, they're adding all the time. The only caveat I've got for you guys is this. They're not necessarily one for everything yet, but who knows? Maybe that one's coming from you, right? So it's crowdsourced. So this is one of the saddest things I've ever seen teachers tweet. How do I make a PDF editable? No, no. When you make PDFs editable, kids from 6th grade up are going to straight up screenshot that sucker. They're going to straight up screenshot it. You're going to spend hours working in a tool that you don't like to make worksheets that kids are screenshotting. Use the tools, you guys. Quizzes is there. Get the answers in real time. Quill for language arts, 150 activities with AI built in that give real-time feedback. Socrative. Have the kids write one sentence, and if they can't write one sentence, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to teach them how to write one sentence better. Nearpod's great for this because you can string several EduProtocols together in a single Nearpod. And what's cool about that is at the end of the day, you get a single report. Same for Pear Deck. There's a few features I like better on Nearpod, but if you have Pear Deck, don't be sad. It's awesome. You can do HyperDocs. You can do EduProtocols. And so here's what math reps look like. Amanda Sandoval dropped these into Pear Deck because as a teacher mom, she teaches 11th grade history. She was tired of crappy worksheets. So she made this. Today's number is, and I love this right here, your mom or dad will let you know when you are ready to finish. It's Pokemon. So the kids are dropping in one slide. And what's cool about Pear Deck or Nearpod is every kid can do what? Draw their answers. And that means every single kid is giving you one specific slide that looks like this, and they work their way through. I'll give you guys another example that's even better. So in Pear Deck, what you'll get on this slide is you'll get 30 answers that are filled out this way. And you can do that synchronously or asynchronously. But here's the dirty secret, the best part. Oh, and I love this one too, sorry. Plus 10, minus 10, plus 1, minus 10. This is a great way to build number sense. If a kid can't do this, that's a call for help, right? And I can get them coached up pretty quick. And if a kid can do this, they're pretty agile, right? So one of my cool dirty tricks is, guess what? For these set of slides, and this isn't the whole set, what's my prep for tomorrow, Heidi?
Oh, I don't know. 5 hours?
Nothing. I got to get transparencies from the Office Depot. They don't sell them anymore. Literally nothing. And then at the end of the day, guess what I get? One report with all the drawings, all the answers. I could add a couple of open-ended questions to the end of the math reps as a little quick check. What am I correcting tonight? Nothing. I just look at the scores. Oh, it turns out they're pretty horrible at number 4. I'll do a little mini lesson tomorrow. Very light and very agile. Okay, now I'm going to move into a more fancy one, and then I'm going to show you how to plan the perfect week, and then we'll be out of here. Okay, this one right here. Remember my question about if you give kids 3 weeks to do a PowerPoint, when will they do it? How long do you think this lesson took for AP kids? Ooh, I love Dana's aggressiveness. She gets me. She's like, 15 minutes. No, Dana, 15 minutes is way too fast. But kids can do this in about 20 minutes, you guys. How cool is it if kids can make an infographic and an annotated bibliography in one class period? And here's the real kicker. This isn't the ending lesson. So the kids didn't read the chapter. They didn't listen to the lecture. They didn't watch a video. They came out of the gate with this. They came out of the, Dana, I love the swagger. You don't have my AP kids. I can't wait to see your kids doing this, Dana. That's awesome. This is Scott Petrie's AP kids at John F. Kennedy Medical Magnet School in LA. So here's the idea in a number mania. Here's the recipe for what we did right there. We are going to give the kids one number each. We give them a web page, like it could even be Wikipedia. Each of you needs to find one number and dump that into a Google form or a Microsoft form. I'm gonna let that process for a second. Each student is responsible for how many numbers? 1. Well, if I give a kid 30 facts that they're responsible for, I'm gonna lose easily 4 to 10 days on them getting all their facts together. And the reality of it is I don't really need each kid to get 30 facts. So we're crowdsourcing the facts. Huge props to my co-author, Marlena, for doing this one. So I put out a Google form or a Microsoft form. Each kid gets 1 fact. So David might get December 7th, 1941. That's his number. Heidi might put 346 airplanes blown up by the Japanese. That's her number. And Christia might put 1,200 sailors died on the USS Arizona. And then I might put December 7th, 1941 again. And that's okay. So in about 4 minutes, you get 30 facts because of the Google form. Then you quickly share the spreadsheet to the kids. Now, I share the spreadsheet. Oh, I'll show you guys flat icon in just a second. The spreadsheet is view only. Now the kids go over and they get about 5 or 6 facts, and they copy them onto their slide. And then watch this right here, you guys. I have pre-positioned graphics for the kids. Now, Dana, your kids would do this for the first 2 times maybe, then you cut them loose, right? For 4th grade, I'm going to do this for a while. So what I did was, let's say that my infographic was going to be about the American Revolutionary War. Oh, I've got a cannon right here. Oh, I've got a ship right here. Oh, I've got a little Capitol building right here. So what I've done is pre-position those off the slide. They're pre-positioned off the slide. You know why? I don't need 30 kids looking for the perfect cannon. That's not part of this lesson. This lesson is about understanding the facts behind this. And Scott Petrie, my friend who does this a lot, he told me he's got one kid who loves doing this lesson, and he's a kid that told him he doesn't like language arts, but he's a math guy. And so this plays to his strengths. So here's how flat icon works. I got to open up my bar here. And yes, it will totally work in PowerPoint, Karen. You can still put things out in space. If you cannot, you can build a little bar, and what you could do is stack all the graphics over on the side, real small like this, and then you just have a strip, and they drag it over and make it the right size. Yeah, totally work in PowerPoint. I got this trick from Megan Cannon. I don't think she invented it, but she does this with money. If you teach primary, imagine all the icons are dollars, quarters, 50-cent pieces, dimes, and nickels. And this is what Megan does. Make $1.50, go. They drag them all in. Okay, put them back. Make $1.55, go. Okay, so she's giving them real-time feedback. The kids are basically making their own worksheet as they go. So if you know how add-ons work, this is how it's called icons for slides and docs. And what happens is when I click this, again, Dana, at some point you could release this to your kids if you're AP. For 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, I'm going to provide this stuff for the kids for a while. So this is just an add-on, okay? And again, Microsoft has tons of really good pictures in it already. Christia, give me a word you might use in class, like a vocab concept.
Hard drive.
Oh, nice.
I teach technology, so.
So I do hard drive. It might be 2 words I might have done. Oh, look, good, just like that. And so as the teacher, I can pick the one that I fancy. I'm using a British term there, and I go insert, and I can build my kids a little set of graphics they can use. Pretty cool, right?
Yep.
I have done this with 7th and 8th graders. I rolled in on their class. It was U.S. Constitution, U.S. Revolution, and they didn't know me at all. 27 minutes, they had built one of these on the U.S. Revolution, and it wasn't the ending activity, it was the beginning activity. So a couple more facts on this, and then I'll move on. So we got about 15 minutes for me to chef one up. Number Mania, Iron Chef, Cyber Sandwich form a trifecta of highly effective. So remember how many Marzanos? Now, I thought it was pretty cool if I had Cyber Sandwich with 7 Marzanos. What if I've got 3 activities that all have 6 or 7 Marzanos, and we're doing all of those? It's like 21 Marzanos. So these effect sizes on reciprocal teaching, that's almost a year of growth for kids. Here's a couple more exemplars. Battle of Stalingrad, not the ending activity, the beginning activity. This one I really like on the French Revolution. Look how the kid used a battery to show the amount of land owned by the various estates. And then if you look really carefully at this one, I'm hovering over with my mouse. This kid actually took 3 different noun projects and made their own little tableau out of noun projects. You guys, what's the Bloom's level on that kind of stuff, right? That's super high level for them to be building and constructing. Here's another one, Battle of Britain, right? Great to teach design and visual communication elements. The other side effect is when your kids do go to make regular slides, they'll be so much better. And I could literally, when I'm going to do this next year in my class, we'll probably do 2 of these a week. It takes me about 10 minutes to plan because I use the same darn Google Forms last time. I'm going to use the same slide deck as last time. All I got to do is load up a few pictures. If you want to do this for PD, adults love doing this like on coffee or donuts. So let's think of what are the graphics I would have for doing coffee. Cappuccino machine, coffee grinder, some kind of stats, maybe a coffee bean, a couple of coffee cups, one to go. Now they have all the graphics they need. If I'm doing this on donuts, I'd have donuts. I might have a cop. I might not have a cop. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But I'm going to have all those kind of little elements pre-positioned and ready to go. Okay, this one I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, but I'm going to give you guys the key to the castle. This is Plan the Perfect Week powered by EduProtocols done by Kim Boogie. This went like viral in June. And so Kim has built for you guys a slide deck that is her whole week of COVID teaching. This is a week of language arts for her. Fast and Curious, Freyer, Fast and Curious. Dude, it's done. Reading passage, Bokakucha, Freyer. Reading package, Bokakucha. Reading passage, Bokakucha. Game of quotes, or create a meme about your book. She's planned for the week. What? Meanwhile, she's got 8 parts going and a random emoji. Guess what she's doing next week, you guys? Same thing, different words. Boom. And she did it for all subjects, Sonia. So she's got one for math, one for social studies. Now, it's not built for departmentalized. It's built for self-contaminated, right? But you can take this same concept. I could almost turn that into history. Fast and Curious on the vocab. Bokakucha on primary source. Freyer, a character, primary source. This is the beauty of the protocols. They're a lot like Legos or donuts, because I was just talking about donuts. There are norms, and you can move them all around. Maple bars are great, but you can certainly add some bacon. So there's a lot of creativity there. So this link's in there. If you look up Plan the Perfect Week, Kim did about a 12-minute YouTube interview, and you can listen to it from her own mouth. It's awesome. So here's some of those stats I was talking about earlier. 16% to 55% first-year teacher. I'm pretty good, you guys. I've never done that. I'm happy to move 20 points. My offspring are doing better than me at this point, and I'm good with that, right? So 16% passing to 55, and this is on CASP. This is not like iReady or, one of those kind of things. This is the thing. Here's Scott's group, 41 points above. They went up as a department, and their students with disabilities went up more than the general population. When's the last time you guys have seen that? Anybody ever seen that done? Okay. And then this one's a good one too. I worked with a group down in Southern California last year, and this was their answer to this question. Next year I'll be using EduProtocols more due to their impact in my classroom. That's a 7.2 out of 8, you guys. They're like, because of the impact. Now to Joelle's question, which is a great question, and I'm gonna get ready to chef's table here. To Joelle's question, I do, and David and Heidi and Christia, well, Christia, you've done less at this point. I'll do one for about 2 weeks, and then I add one. Now I got 2. And I might do just my regular old teaching on the other stuff. And then I got 2, and guess what happens? Now I add 1. Now I got 3. When I get to 5 or 6, I'm done. I don't have to do the old stuff anymore. So there is a transition. You don't go from 0 to 100. There's a lot of little small pieces. Like if I'm teaching self-contained and I don't love what I do in math, for example, because I'm a language arts guy, I might just start getting good at math reps and get in the flow. And then I might do some fast and curious to get my time to math in, right? And then once I learn that, and this is one of the great things, once a protocol works in one subject, it works in all subjects. If I can have kids do a number mania in science, they can do one in history. So there's very little cross training. So I'm ready for suggestions, and I'll chef's table one for you guys from scratch real quick. And then I'm looking at Karen's question. I'm just seeing if that's a question or just feedback. Yeah, that's this stuff is great for portfolios. A trick my wife does is she has their kids write. Every essay they write is in the same document. They just go farther down. They just treat it like a blog. That means at the end of the year, they've already built a portfolio. Only one link. Where would I start for elementary music? Oh my gosh, I would start with Fast and Curious. You can start teaching them the notes, right? That's an easy one. I might do some cyber sandwich on the history of music or famous composers. Where'd composers come from? Oh, that must have been composers and computers together. So if you want to teach them like musical history, you don't have to stand in front of them and tell them about John Philip Sousa. You can have a cyber sandwich John Philip Sousa, or you can have them Iron Chef John Philip Sousa. Your lesson plan time goes down, and then you're actually tying in really nicely with language art skills for kids. And then while we're waiting for what one you guys want me to Iron Chef or chef table and make, I'll make sure that this gets shared to everybody, because I'm multi-processing right now. Anybody wants me to make one for anybody?
Can you use it for world language
David, talk to world language. Well, I happen to have a friend here who teaches German. David, light him up.
I'm sorry, I had to unmute there. I have my son doing a math rep right now, so I was.
Well, the question is world languages. Do these work in world languages?
Oh shoot! Yeah, they do. Let's see. I have done a variety of different topics on these. How in depth do you want me to go?
Oh, well, we have 11 minutes, so don't get too crazy.
How about we do subjunctive case?
All right.
If someone else wants to say, if you have time, 8 parts.
Okay, I'll start blowing up some 8 parts here real quick while David finishes off. How did you use EduProtocols planning wise in a world language class? So we don't need a specific, David, but like what were your top 3, for example, and what did you teach with them, like cognates or derivatives or things like that?
Okay, so Fast and Curious, always at the very top. Let's see, Iron Chef, always at the top, and 8 parts always at the top. So those were the top 3 protocols, and then from there it sort of diminished a little bit.
Oh, I love Harvey's question. No, there's no way I can repeat what just happened. We will not be repeating this. However, it's being recorded and you can watch over and over again. We might do another one later in the summer though, Heidi. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Melanie, no, if you don't need proof of professional learning hours, don't worry about it.
Okay, so somebody asked about 8 parts. So the basic idea of 8 parts is super simple. And David, you can tell me your world language upgrade on that. So basically the idea is here, we have a graphic organizer with all 8 parts of speech. And then what we do is we add a funny picture. And actually, I'm going to go back to the other bit. We add a funny picture. And if you go to here, 245 hilarious pictures. Oh, that's funny. I drew a weird kind of smiley face without realizing. So basically, and Heidi, it looks like you need to change the sharing permissions on that, basically. So imagine taking a picture like this, and the title is, when this is why you shouldn't leave the kids alone with the dog. They decided to color in the Dalmatian, right? How about this? I love the title on this one. Feared the worst when my Marine turned cop neighbor called me saying, come quick, kids, there's inaudible everywhere, wife's gone. Turns out it's kids in the bath, right? So you take a funny picture like this and you have the kids go like this. Give me 3 nouns, kids, bubbles, bath. Give me 3 adjectives. Super clean kids because of the bubbles, right? And you take them through all the parts of speech. The first day, I give them the answers. I just look at the picture. And if my kids are in 5th or 6th grade, they know quite a few already. But on day 1, they get points for filling it in. And when they've got them all filled in, then what happens in this area right here is they write me a paragraph. Now, this is one of the biggest things I see teachers mess up on. This is not a story because it's not a 30-minute activity. This is simply 5 or 6 sentences, use each of the parts of speech and bring this stuff to life. So the first day, very much like math reps, the first day I might give them all the answers. The second day, I might give them a lot of the answers, right? Then on the 3rd day, kids like David going, I have a noun. What do you got? So then you have a my noun and David's noun. And by about the 5th rep, they have started handing off the process. And so I'm going to give you guys some examples here from our main page of 8 parts. And all you got to do is Google Jon Corippo 8 parts. This will come right up. Look at how much work this kid did. And guess what? This teacher has them color coding it. They're color coding it. Here's other derivatives. So there's the DBQ one. Here's Chris Flores. I've got several teachers using this in world languages. And you can also, I've got a teacher who puts a historical picture. So they could put a picture of the Battle of Midway. Identify the place, identify the time. Really flexible, really, really cool. And then that leads to sentence parts, which is the add-on. Now, I saw a person that said, oh, I'm thinking math 8 parts. You could do some math with this, like a note and notice, but for me, I would rather do the math as the 8 parts in terms of arithmetic. But you could certainly put up things. And then that leads on to, bear in mind, you guys, yeah, upgraded math libs. You're totally right. Mad libs, Teresa Morgan, totally right. So this is then sentence parts, which is the follow-on. You guys bear in mind, with this activity and 8 parts, that is almost all of my language arts instruction, like 60% of my language instruction until after Halloween, depending on the class. So this is the same basic thing. Funny picture, write an imperative sentence, write a declarative sentence, write an interrogative sentence, write an exclamation, character 1, character 2, character 1, character 2, write a title. It's 21 sentences, guys. I got kids that can do this in 11 minutes. How's their 5-paragraph essay for the district going to go if they can knock out 21 sentences in 11, 12 minutes? It's going to be fine. So that's sentence parts and 8 parts. Let's see, what else? Any other questions? Because we can just move to general Q&A. But if you guys want, I'll make a thin slide for you real quick. Watch how fast this is. drive.google.com. This is with my internet being kind of sucky today. New. What am I going to make, Dave? New slide deck. And this is with it slow. Here we go. New Google slide. Thin slides from scratch. Blank presentation. I'm going to put in a little title on the first page. I have a title in mind. Heidi's going to love this one. Carific thin slides. And then I'm going to go like this, just as a reminder to the kids. 1, 1, 3. One picture, 1 word, 3 minutes. Oh, actually, I can do 1, 1, 1. 1 picture, 1 word, 1 slide. Okay, now the hard part. I'm going to go new slide, blank. I'm going to type in these amazing words right here. Claim this slide. David, what do you call cheese that's not yours?
Nacho cheese.
So therefore, if it is not your slide, stay off of it. Nacho slide. Now I'm going to use the duplicate button, Command D, doink, 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 doink. And here they come. All I have to do now is share it to the classroom. Lessons made. Lessons made. And today I'm thinking math, so I might do this one, divisor. And pick in the little hot dog above, pick textbook. And we're on the way. Literally that fast. Literally that fast. I'll show you guys one more. I'm going to show you an Iron Chef. We didn't really talk a lot about that, but if you guys know what a jigsaw lesson is, I made this one. This one's great for PD, Christia and Heidi. Yep. This is a great way to introduce it for folks who are adult learners, right? So you'll see a lot of these elements are similar. One source, facts and image, 1 slide each, but now in groups of 5, 10 minutes to build. These kids are going to be done building their slides in 10 minutes, okay? So basically, the slide template that I made for this one was your first classroom technology. So everybody got this slide right here. This is what the blanks look like. Item name, picture of the item, 3 attributes or memories of the technology, and then the secret ingredient, a pic, GIF, or meme of your current drool-worthy item. And then just like the thin slide, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Is everybody tracking this? It's basically a deconstructed paragraph, you guys. Title, body elements. If I'm in 3rd grade, I make it simpler. If I'm in high school, I make it more fancy. The secret ingredient is to keep the kids geeking out, so it's not just boring instructions. The title is Your First Classroom Technology. And I do the first one with the adults, so they don't have to look at anything on the internet. There's no story or anything, because I want their cognitive load low. On the second round, I might give them a Wikipedia page on the history of In-N-Out Burger or White Castle. Does that make sense? Still fun and easy, but we're starting to read other people's stuff. So here's what these teachers made, 10 minutes on the first try. How many people can relate to that GIF when we talk mimeograph? And her current drool-worthy is an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil. First Tech Edition, graphing calculator. Note 3 attributes. Compare graphs, graph using sensors, understanding slopes. And look at their current drool-worthy is zooming with Desmos. Okay, this one's got a different look. Overhead projector, protectiveness of my vis-a-vis markers. Remember when that was like a capital, an economy in your classroom? Binders full of curriculum and transparency games like Battleship. Current drool-worthy item, Yeti mic. So each of the students in this adult learning class was experiencing this in a way that was very personal and very creative. One of the things I was going to say about the slide template itself, you guys, I usually make it really boring because I want the kids to change the fonts and I want the kids to change the sizes. So like I think that is an ideal font for video Laserdisc. They had to pick that out of their Google fonts. Creativity, guys. Maslow's metacognitive. They're thinking on these higher levels. And then this is pretty cool from video. And Christy, this is yours. That's funny.
I was gonna say that's my slide.
I didn't even know that. I picked it at random. But yeah, this is a perfect font. How you spent time thinking about the font, right? Which means that you're going to remember this lesson. And I think as a language arts teacher, Times New Roman is too easy, you guys. I'm going to make my kids pick the font based on the mood and tone they want to set. Yeah, that's a totally different game than always Times New Roman. This one's very nice. iMac 1998. This person did a great job. They weren't as fancy as Christy on the font. Do I care? I do not care. It was their first try. I love what they did here, though. This was super creative. They put the word updates on a tilt over Google Meet. And they were saying, I'm waiting for some of the Zoom-like functionality in Meet. Boom, that's an A, right? At the end, each kid gets about 20 seconds to share their slide. Note, I did not say read their slide because I can read. Tell me about the slide. It's a lot like show and tell. And so here's another one. HP ProBook, fast processing. Did this person follow the instructions exactly? No, because they were supposed to talk about their old time first tech. So I think you remember this, Christy. In the session, I go, oh, and they go, oh, I've only been teaching 3 months. That's my first. And we're like, oh, that's totally different then. So they're like, I don't even know what I'm drooling over yet. I've only been doing this for like 3 months. So that's what an Iron Chef looks like. It's super creative. What's my lesson prep time for an Iron Chef, David?
10 minutes.
Max. Sometimes
Max.
less.
I mean, you really don't have much.
And I don't know if David, if you know that I tell this story a lot. David taught a drone class at his old high school. And he did a really good thing, which he told the kids, we've got to be FAA certified to be drone pilots. You guys, you know any 16-year-olds that want to hear that lecture? I don't. So what David did was he had him Iron Chef the FAA webpage with all the rules. And they taught each other. And he walked around and ate cup of soup while they worked. That's optimal teaching right there. He's like, that's looking good, you guys. I didn't know that one. He's doing all the lift, not David, right? All he did was said, once you guys can Iron Chef these and didn't it take you like 3 rounds too? Because it was like 70 pages or something.
That one took a little bit less. It was the harder stuff. I had to cyber sandwich the harder stuff. That's like
right. So then now you break into the smaller groups and the tighter conversations, right? But the bottom line is David did not need a textbook. He just needed the primary document that said, these are the 47 things you need to be aware of. And so he used Fast and Curious for some of the vocab, and he used Iron Chef to get it kicked off, and he used Cyber Sandwich when he got fancier. And guess what? If he's teaching German, he's going to do the same attack. Same attack, world languages. Here's your vocab, your 15 words. Achtung, Achtung über alles. That's all, most of my German. And then they do a little cyber sandwich on Martin Luther or some German dude. And then they do some Iron Chefing and your races. So I'm basically done. I'm here for Q&A. As you guys remember, free protocol templates at this for the littles. Guess what the littles version of cyber sandwich is? Peanut butter and jelly. It's right there. You can do it with kindergartners, first graders. And then it's a little quote from some friends of mine in New Jersey. When they saw what we were teaching their staff, they were astounded at how more capable their teachers were in a COVID-19 environment. Astounded. And so once again, like I said at the beginning, screenshot this if nothing else. I'll be here to help you. I will send you all of the any slides you want. I'll make some if you don't have them. Here's the slide link again because I shared it once. I'm not here to sell books, you guys. That's not my jam. I'm not here to sell books. But if your school was going to buy some books, I can get you a really good discount. If you did want to buy some books, ping me and we'll get you a really sharp discount because we're not about making money.
we'll show your book.
Yeah, and I love all the Post-it notes. That's my favorite little thing. Like people like they got all the Post-its in there. Yeah. And then you can get EduProtocols 2, book 2 for $2.99 on Kindle, right? And so like if you wanted to, jump out there and get them. And yeah, love it, love it.
You did have one question that We haven't answered yet. They're curious when your math-specific EduProtocols
Okay.
is coming out.
Okay.
And can they be used in a high school setting?
Yeah, they can definitely be used in high school. We've written most of the protocols and templates to be right down the line of about 6th through 8th. So David taught high school, I've taught high school. Iron Chef is not grade level centric. So you can totally use these in high school. What you do is like this example of Scott Petrie. What he did was he added this piece, which I will circle for clarity. What Scott added, this is the number mania that's our lesson design. Scott added an annotated bibliography to it for his AP kids. So you just add a few things to make it fancier, right? You just add a few things. So all of these work, and like I said earlier, these all work with adults. They work with adults. I did it with Christia's group on Iron Chef, and we did great learning. But I got to go slow because the adults, they don't always know how to push all the buttons. But the beauty of reps is by the 4th or 5th reps, the kids are like bang, 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 bang. Math reps work great all the way from, we've got 0 through 12 in terms of grade. We just don't have a lot of depth in all grades, right? If that makes sense. Fast and Curious works fabulous in math to learn geometric shapes, to learn fraction equivalence, to learn decimal conversion, to do math acts, things like that. All work super good, super good. Oh, and Candace, let me prove that that is not true right now. Candace said if you make what happens is they're not editable unless, and that's what whoever was telling you that probably meant. So I'll open a Nearpod slide deck right now and share it to you. The session's officially over Facebook-wise if you want to shut it down, Heidi, but I don't mind. I'll stay around. So if, I don't want people standing here because they feel guilty. If you guys are good, you can bail out, and I'll keep geeking for a little while with you.
I think you have to end it on your end because you have the host.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna. So people just leave.
Okay.
I'll turn the Facebook part off. Hold on a second here. Stop share. Now I'm just waiting for my slow internet to kick in. I'll start answering your question though on Candace. So what happens is you make a Google slide deck. You do add the Nearpod piece to that. And then you get those overlays for Nearpod, okay? And so when you're done, you hit Save to Nearpod. Once it's in Nearpod, you can't edit it. But if you go back to the Google Slides and change things, then what happens is you can hit Upload, and it'll keep the same lesson in there and update. So there you go. The Amazon code, unfortunately, only you can only get the code if you buy a group of 10 through Dave Burgess Publishing. So just email me for that, and I'll set you up. But to get the discounts, it's got to be a group of 10. Boy, my internet is really stinking right now.
Hey, John, I was going to say before I drop out, thanks for this. Thanks for adding me